So this happened last summer when I was 14. I am in the Boy Scouts, and we were taking a train ride to Origin, where I was going to Camp Makula. I was with my friend Ethan, who was 12, but he looked about 8. We went to the lounge car where there were more of my troop. We sat down and ordered some pizza. We were just sitting there and chilling whilst playing poker when this man wearing a hoodie came over and sat down next to us. I couldn't quite see his face until he looked up. He looked like he was in his late 20s and was carrying a box with a beer and some pizza. He was nearly bald and looked like he hadn't had a shower in weeks, and his eyes were wild and blue like White Walker blue. He started mumbling to himself when my friend Cameron tried to move away and he yelled, "Don't touch my beers." Cameron moved away and apologized and said he didn't try to touch it. Then he started mumbling to himself again and he said, "Do you have a BVC radio?" One of our patrol leaders said no. The man said, "It's a damn good radio, incredibly powerful thing." He started mumbling again. Then he asked us if any of us had brought knives. I felt my knife in my pocket and began to bring it out to hand it to him when my patrol leader nudged me and told me not to. We all said we left them in luggage. The man went quiet and occasionally mumbled something to himself. I got my pizza and continued playing poker when Ethan, who was distributing cards, was walking around. Went by me. My eyes wandered onto the man who was staring intently with an insane look at Ethan, like, "I'm going to skin you alive" look. I was amused, but a bit creeped out by this. I'm really good at making insane looks as I am an actor, so I gave him my "I'm going to skin you alive, but jokingly" look. When he turned and gave the same look he was giving Ethan, but to me, was a bit worse, and at this point, I was creeped the fuck out. I told my patrol leader and he said, "I know all the patrol leaders told their scouts to leave slowly one by one. I was about to tell your patrol as well." We left one by one, and when we got to our seats, we started talking about how creepy it was. Speaking of the devil, the man starts to walk down our aisle. Now me and Ethan sit next to each other, and the man stopped by our seats and wrote down our seat number on a notepad or some shit. Now me and Ethan were creeped the fuck out, especially when I wanted to protect Ethan, and I am a big and muscular, but an unarmed 14-year-old and like 5'8", and this dude was like 6'2", and far more muscular and possibly armed. It was about midnight, and I was going to sleep. Now, the lights were turned off and everyone else was asleep, but I stayed up because Ethan wanted me to in case he comes by. When I was literally 2 blinks away from going to sleep, I saw the man's reflection on my window, like 2 fucking feet from me. I thought I was hallucinating, but when I turned around, it was still dark, but I could see the fucker. He walked in front of me, and I was about to start picking Ethan up when I realized what was about to happen, and hit the recliner button on my seat. That shit goes fast and hard and crushed his feet, and I heard a crack. He makes a noise in pain, and I push him down. He falls on the aisle and makes a grunt of pain, then runs down the aisle to another cart. Now, if I was smart, I would have screamed or told someone, but I was too tired, so I went back to sleep. An hour later or so, I wake up with the man in front of me, but this time he was already lifting up Ethan. When I realized what was happening again, I flipped and started yelling, "You asshole! Get out of here, you creep." He dropped Ethan back in his chair. I hit the recliner button again, and he was already on his way back to the aisle when the recliner caught the back of his shoe. He then ran. My patrol leader heard me yelling and asked what happened. I explained, and he told me to go back to sleep. I did. I wake up about 2 hours later. I wake to hear my patrol leader telling the dude to basically fuck off. I went back to sleep. I woke up at around 7. We just got into Origin, and we were like 3 hours away from the camp. The man was gone, and I asked my patrol leader what happened, and this is what he said. The dude went back to the lounge and chilled there for a bit. Then a Cub Scout, who was 9, walked down to get a late snack, and the man saw the Cub Scout and started following him. The Cub Scout went to the bathroom, and the man followed him in, and started banging on his stall, saying, "Let me in." The Cub Scout, who just got a phone, called his dad and told him what was going on. The dad rushed in and the man ran back off down the train. The cops were called, and at the next stop the cops of the town boarded, and my patrol leader gave a statement of what happened. The police found the man hiding in the luggage car. He snuck into the train and had 3 knives on him. I don't know what happened next with the man. We went to the camp and I had fun, but I had some anxiety attacks after this. Months later, I visited a therapist and I was diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety. I'm still in the Boy Scouts, and I've tried to work through it, which I think I've almost have. I rarely get triggered, but it happens.